Hey guys, Duke here. Today I've got a rather quick video which is more of an answer to a very common problem that I see regarding a lot of US masks. Now, one problem that most people will have is they want to know how to remove this front voice emitter assembly, or in more often cases they have an MSA Millennium and they would prefer to swap it for a MCU2A/P voice emitter, which has the integral microphone port, or they want to put that on an M40 series mask to make it an M42. However, I will say that doesn't entirely always work, at least in my case it doesn't, but nevertheless, it is a common problem that people do not know how to remove these front diaphragms, because more often than not they are stuck on from age and they are very tightly threaded on for obvious reasons. And today I have a tool which these have actually been around for a while. You can find these on eBay for like around the $15 range. And this is actually a specifically designed tool for removing front voice emitters for the purposes of replacement and swapping components, obviously. But I will say that you can get these for, relatively cheap, like I said, 15 bucks on eBay. But I would advise against buying them all up, because who knows when we were going to see another stock of these. So I would advise getting these if you are planning on doing this type of work a lot. Otherwise, in the case of like an MSA Millennium, a simple jar opener will usually do the trick most of the time. These aren't very tightly threaded on because they are sort of produced in mind of replacing components. However, with these older, the older MCU2P series or M40 series masks, they are quite tightly bound on, so I can see where it would be an advantage there. But as always, I will link the component down in the description in case you are curious, but nevertheless, let's show how it's done. So as you can see here, there are 4 pegs which have very small, smaller pegs on them, which would interface with the holes in the voice diaphragm itself. And you would simply align these, and so that all 4 pegs are inserted into these holes. It can be a little bit fiddly, and as you can see, there's more than enough clearance to accommodate the microphone port on the actual voice emitter, should it have one. And obviously, with the strange cutout here and the square hole, this probably would have been designed to interface with another tool of some sort. I do not have that, nor do I know which tool it would interface with, but these can just as easily be used by themselves by hand. So I will demonstrate here by, I find the most comfortable way to hold them is to have your palm against the round end and have your fingers up against this flat edge and just sort of rotate it like so. And so it's very simple, just rotate it and it will unthread. You don't even need to have it on. You can probably do it the rest of the way by hand like I'm doing. And then the microphone diaphragms are a little bit tricky because they got this little bit of clearance here to get past the oronasal cup. But once that's off, you can then work on your other mask, which, you know, is a pretty straightforward process at this point. Sometimes you'll need to pop your hand through the inside to push the diaphragm out because they'll get a little bit sticky. But then what you can do is obviously just pop the sucker in there and stick it on. So I would recommend, if you have a microphone installed like I do, I would say to remove it, but you don't need to. But if you don't, just push the microphone in end first and then just kind of slide the top of those cables, they're not really cables, that mounting bracket, through the oronasal cup, and then just kind of thread it on by hand, especially if you got a microphone here. You don't really need to do this with a standard voice emitter because the alignment isn't really as necessary, but here the alignment is key, so you'll need to tighten this down by hand first and make sure that the microphone port is perpendicular to the actual center line of the mask. Is probably not the right term, but you get the picture. And then you obviously tighten it the rest of the way using the tool. And this is where the tool definitely comes in handy if you're removing these voice emitters a lot, is they are good for making sure the assembly is nice and tight. See, it's a little bit out of alignment there, but obviously you can fiddle with it and do it a lot better than I have done here. So that being said, that's pretty much all I have to show you guys. It's a quick video. I do have more content to put out. I just haven't gotten around to doing reviews on it, and I will try and get that done shortly here. It's been a busy week. So that being said, if you have any comments, questions, corrections, or concerns, as always, drop them down in the comments below, and I will see you all later.